Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Vinnie here, and today I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on a Subaru Crosstrek. This process should be pretty much the same for all the years that Subaru Crosstreks were made, as well as many other Subarus that are out there on the road today. This video may also be similar to other year, make, model vehicles that are also on the road today. All right, for the tools and parts needed for this job, I'm going to use a set of ramps to lift up the vehicle. Optionally, you can use a car jack with jack stands. Since we're using ramps, we're going to have some blocks of wood to put in the front of the ramps to help the vehicle up so you don't scrape the bumper. Over here we have a pad to lay on, oil drain pan, oil funnels, rags, oil filter pliers, 1/2-inch breaker bar with a 14mm socket, that's for the oil drain plug, 3/8 torque wrench with a 14mm socket to tighten up the drain bolt, rubber gloves, and then of course last but not least we have our oil right here, which is a 0W20 full synthetic. I believe is the brand that Subaru uses from the factory right here. And then of course we have an OEM Subaru oil filter, which also came with the drain plug crush washer. I'll have links in the description for everything you see in this video. And before we get started, you might want to note down your mileage. Come right under here to pop the hood. All right, so before we drain anything, I like to check what the oil level is first. So we're gonna open up the hood. Dipstick's right here. I'm gonna take it out and clean it first. Put it back in, all the way in. Pull it out. And we're just gonna double check our oil level to see kind of where we're at. Looks like the oil level's right about here, and it's pretty dirty. I'm gonna put the hood back down while we get the car on the ramps. All right, so I already got my ramps set up, so I'm gonna begin to put this on there. If you guys have jack stands, then now's the time to jack the vehicle up. Also note, if you are using ramps, that you just wanna make sure that this bumper right here clears the edge of these ramps. So that's why I put a couple blocks of wood here to lift the tire up just a little bit higher, which should allow the bumper to clear the ramp. So I usually like to hang out the side of the car and just go pretty slowly to make sure we're not going to rip the bumper off. Now we can open the hood again. First we can remove the oil cap here. By removing this, it should allow the oil to drain a little bit faster. And we're gonna put it up here so we don't lose it. Could also just pull the dipstick up and just kind of let it sit there as well. Next, I like to get my oil filter pliers and just crack the filter loose. So we're just gonna twist it a little bit. And I'm not gonna take this all the way off yet. Just loosely like that. And you may see a little bit of oil come out around it. That's okay. There is like this catch basin here for that oil. First, you can slide in your oil drain pan and then your pad. Make sure you bring some rags and your 14mm. All right, and if you're coming from under the front of the vehicle, you're gonna look right up here and you will see there is the 14mm oil drain plug bolt. You're not going to have to remove any plastic splash shields because the way that Subaru designs it is they leave a huge cutout here for you to be able to drain that oil right out. All right, so you'll grab your 14mm socket, get it on that drain plug. We're going to go lefty-loosey to break it loose. And then once it's broken loose, you can do the rest by hand. Now this part can get a bit messy. I recommend making sure your plug is open on your drain pan first. And I like to hold the pan up to where I'm draining this oil. So I'm gonna loosen this right to the end, and then I'm gonna quickly pull it away in hopes to not get oil everywhere. There you go. So the warmer your oil is, the faster it's gonna drain. And I'm just gonna hold this until everything's slowing down just to make sure we don't spill it everywhere. All right, that looks good there. Got a little bit of oil on the hands, but that's why we wear gloves. Next, you want to remove the crush washer from the drain bolt, and then getting your new crush washer here, and install this onto the bolt. And I'm going to put this flat side onto the bolt first, just so you guys can see that orientation. So that rounded crush side is going to go towards the pan. Now I'm going to reinstall our 14mm drain bolt. Tighten that all the way by hand. Wipe everything off with a rag, make sure there's no oil And then I'm gonna get my 3/8 torque wrench with a 14mm socket, and we're gonna torque this oil drain plug bolt down to 31 foot-pounds. All right, next, coming up top, we're gonna fully remove this oil filter. Just unscrew that. There may be a little bit of oil that comes out of it, so just try to be clean with it. All right, next with the clean rag, you're gonna wanna wipe out all of this old oil in here and other dirt and grime, whatever's in there. Next, we'll remove our plastic from our oil filter, and you're gonna open up your new oil. Just get the tip of your finger on there, some fresh oil, and you just want to lube that O-ring that's around the bottom of this oil filter. Now you get your new oil filter, and we can reinstall that. And I like to just tighten it down until it stops turning by hand. And then that should be good. Pro tip, write the date and the miles that are currently on the car, so if you ever forget or don't reset the light in the car, you can always check it again on the oil filter. Or if somebody else is working on your car doing this, they'll be able to see when the last time you changed your oil was. Now you can put your oil funnel in, and we are going to start filling the oil back up in this car. This car takes 4.6 quarts of 0W20 oil. I'll have the whole list up on the screen here now, as well as down in the description, for your oil capacity and the oil type for the different years of the Subaru Crosstreks. This specific Subaru Crosstrek is a 2018, so we're going to be adding 4.6 quarts of 0W20 fully synthetic engine oil. So if you get one of these big 5-quart jugs, on the side of it there's a clear strip that you can hold up to see the oil level here. So you're going to want to add 4.6 quarts of that oil and then leave just a little bit at the end. All right, that looked to be about 4.6 quarts, so we'll go ahead and remove our oil funnel. I like to clean the bottom of this oil cap and then add some fresh oil around this O-ring right here. And we can reinstall the oil cap. You can just snug that up gently, it doesn't have to be too tight. And then over here, I'm just gonna push our oil dipstick back in, because we're gonna go and start this car and then lower the vehicle onto a level surface or back onto the ground. And then we'll go ahead and check our oil levels. Gonna let it idle for a few seconds and then we'll back it off the rams. All right, now the vehicle's on a level surface. We will now check our oil dipstick. So you're gonna pull it out and clean it. Put it all the way back in. Let it sit for a second. Pull it back out. All right, and if you wanna look, there is a low level and a high level. There's like these little dimples there, and our oil looks to be just at the high level, which is perfect. If your oil level is reading low on here, then you can just go ahead and add a little bit more oil. Make sure you fully install your dipstick, double check everything's tight, and then you should be good to lower the hood. All right, and last but not least, I'm gonna show you how to reset the oil light. So what we're gonna use is this info button, and you're gonna push on that so you can toggle through the menu until you see that pop up. Then it's gonna say to hold the info button. So we're gonna hold that button down, and it's gonna bring up a maintenance menu. Once you're on that menu, you can use these up and down arrows here, and then the center button as the select to go through this menu. So from the beginning, I'm gonna hold that button. We're gonna get to this menu. We'll go down to maintenance, engine oil, and then you can set a date and a year and all that, and then you can go down to the miles. So I already did this one for the engine oil, but instead of 6,000, I'm gonna do 5,000. And then we will go to set, and then we're gonna go down to oil filter and do the same thing. So So we had 240 miles left. I'm gonna click on that and toggle this over to 5,000 miles. Now I do just want to also show you guys, if you just clicked on the oil filter and then went down to update, it'll automatically set it to 6,000, which is Subaru's recommended oil change schedule. Me personally, I prefer 5,000, so I'm going to do that and set it and forget it. All right guys, and that's about it. That's how you're going to do an oil change on a Subaru Crosstrek. If this video helped you guys out, please leave me a like. If you guys have any questions at all, leave them down in the comments. I'll get back to you. And if you're looking for more of this kind of content, then hit that subscribe button, because there'll be plenty more videos coming your way. Appreciate you guys sticking through with me on this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.